logo on their leg for breaking it, or whatever it may be. I promise you, people like that, they want to have the opportunity to get things done, right? People in wheelchairs, people that have never walked, fat people, don't care. I'm one of them, I can say it, right? So I want to give people the hope, but this is an actual 5K. So I have to convince people in the overweight society that we're in right now to kind of get your butt out here and raise money for a charity. So they came to me 62 days before their second annual run to end homelessness. Now, the first time they did it, they raised $40,000 in a couple hours, and that's good money. That can change a lot of people's lives, especially when you have the formula, right? But you see, that wasn't enough. Because you say, I want to fund a music program in there. I want to fund restaurants. When they graduate the culinary program and they get their butts out there, they can have their own restaurants. You see, again, like I said, the American dream is not being an employee. It's being an employer. So you create the dream for everybody else, okay? So that's how we get things done. So I said, I'm gonna have a team. So I took $35 and created my Chris Foltz, the Foltz Effect, Run to End Homelessness team. Now, I can promise you this, I did not run. I hid in the bushes for probably 4K of the 5K, but I crossed the finish line and I started it. So everybody wins. So what I did, the key to life whenever you're doing events, is you always first create the cool kids table. And that's usually your host committee, all right? Because once you create a cool kids table, then the media cares because they see a bunch of cool kids are in there. So that's the president of the foundation. Big modeling guy in Chicago, Lisa Lockwood again, one of my closest colleagues, the next room over. Miss Illinois, one of the Playboy Love Advice columnists, Vince Vaughn's mom, the person in charge of Latino Fashion Week, and the gentleman who created the house music industry. So we had a bunch of cool kids. So then I was able to get a television show to film live there at my event that I'm having as a pre-event to this event. So then, cool kids table, the media was interested, and then a TV show called Millionaire Matchmaker. We've all seen this on Bravo before. Chelsea Autumn was the person with Patty Stanger that did this whole thing. She's a client of mine. I represent a lot of celebrities, especially the ones that do charitable stuff. So she's like, you know what? I'm in town for a wedding. I'm going to host this event. So 7 days out, I was able to get everything donated and do an epic event, raise several $1,000s. And for a brief moment, I mean, you can see how big it was on a rooftop. For a brief moment, I had the most popular team in the Run to End Homelessness, which automatically means I was an athlete, right? Fair enough, okay? If you got the best team in the Run to End Homelessness, you're an athlete. All right, so one of my life dreams were accomplished with that alone. So here it is. We started doing branding, putting it on our website. And if you notice, like on everything, I brand it myself. Join the Foltz Effect team using their stuff, so it's okay to talk about other people's goodwill on your own Facebook pages. We started doing that. We built a landing page on our website to start raising money. We started doing public service announcements. And the first year that they did this, it was great. 200 runners, probably about 1,000 people in attendance. The year we got involved, 2,000 runners. Do you realize how big that is? It is the fastest growing run in America. Not the fastest growing run, then homelessness. The fastest growing 5K in America is for homeless people. Now, the great thing about it is homelessness doesn't necessarily exist in the white, prissy neighborhoods of the North Shore of Chicago. So I put this run in homelessness in Douglas Park, the 13th scariest neighborhood in America. All right, so when these rich and elitist people want to come out and do their, running for fun is actually things people do. So if they want to do it, and they want to give money to us, and we want to save the neighborhood, I'm putting in the damn neighborhood that they are going to save. Because you see, if you don't see things, you don't care. And I want people to care, I want people to run, okay? So we did it, and we had a record turnout. Now this year, we just had it a couple weeks ago, our third annual. And the greatest thing about this is that we set a few records. Because of all the great things we were able to do, we had the largest purse in the world for a 5K run. So if you got a U.S. record, a world record, your prize money would be larger than any other race, including the Chicago Marathon, Boston Marathon, everything, for a small West Side Chicago run to end homelessness. One of my friends, he's a Grammy Award-winning musician and songwriter. He wrote the song Jesus Walks for Kanye West, All Falls Down, all the banging songs that Kanye's done, my friend did. So we did a talent show inside of a safe haven. And right now there's a track that's about to hit the radio stations, upcoming, produced by a Grammy Award winner, and 100% of the people singing on it are homeless. Okay, so don't tell me when you look at somebody that they can't do good things. These are homeless people that are kicking ass with Grammy Award winning musicians, and I don't care who you are, that's an amazing feat. We had them perform live at our Live Aid concert. One of the first things in my intro video, you saw a bunch of hands together. This is my run team, all of our shoes together, which was pretty excited. Now we scaled it out, the bowl to end homelessness, because some people just can't run, but usually people that can't run definitely know how to bowl for some reason. It's just one of those things, right? And then, so this is this year's. if I can only begin to tell you how many sponsors we had a live feed on national news. This company right here, Mosito, one of the biggest challenges for homeless people is, believe it or not, identification. Okay? I went through this process. My mom had passed away, as you guys know. My dad and I were on rocky terms. And you have to get like a birth certificate. I don't care if you're 30 years old, you got to have some proof here, right? And so it took me forever to get a driver's license. Without a driver's license, you can't get a job. It's, you know, it's this recidivism is built in. And without a job, you can't get a bank account. It's a shitstorm. So what Mosito did is they came and said, listen, you know, when you get a Visa or MasterCard, you know, it has the, that's not one, it has the little symbol down here at the bottom. And so what we did is we got a MasterCard, and we have identification here. All of your ID characteristics is not attached to a bank. It's almost like a turnkey thing. So everybody that goes to our program gets their own ID. They wear it right here. And then I went to my friend, good old friend Jesse White. He's the Secretary of State in Illinois. We do a lot with him. I volunteer and run his organ donation program, all these things. And I said, Jesse, how do we make this policy? Because quite frankly, we started the process of making it where illegal immigrants had driver's license. So quite frankly, how about we let our own citizens have something, right, that's not so jumping through hoops and ladders? Because I can tell you right now that illegal immigrants do not have birth certificates, and they don't have any of that stuff, but they now have IDs. So now what happens is, when you graduate our program, okay, and I brought up the fact, whoever, you know, what you have with that village, 5,650 people every year go through a safe haven program, okay? That's much bigger than the village, as you guys were talking about from yesterday. Everybody that graduates get $100 put in their account, just automatically. Because, you know, you have to get to those job interviews. You have to get clothes and everything. The first step to making money is saving it. So we give them the opportunity to fish. All right? So we just had so much money come in. It was pretty exciting. Then we did the concert, Absolute Legends, the Shy Lights. You know that song? Oh, girl. Veronica, you know that song, don't you? Oh, girl by the Shy Lights. We're going to dance to it later, so I'm going to make sure you know about it. But you just seemed hip, so I figured you figured it out, Dr. Veronica. But we had this huge concert. Everything was successful. And this is why we do it, right here, guys. This is the Christmas party we throw. These are all homeless children. And, you know, I'll know when I do my job, because I plan on running for president. And the best thing in the world that can happen is one of these kids run against me and win. Because that just goes to show that we were able to get something done. Okay, the only reason I want to be a politician is not because of the perks, the benefits. Matter of fact, you get less shit done when you're a politician than you do when you're not. But you see, I wanted to show. Right. That's right. My man over here, dude, you're going to be on my campaign staff. I promise. You get more things done because you see, the thing about the private sector is very simple. I just want to prove to people that somebody that was a felon, somebody that went to jail, can actually get to the highest office in the land. Because quite frankly, the only thing you can't do as a felon is run for alderman or mayor in the city of Chicago. Blow my mind. You can run for president, you can be a Supreme Court justice, you probably can be Pope. So I'm gonna basically prove that point, right? So ultimately,
about time we have a Sicilian Pope.
That's it, right there. It is about time. Me, Bruno's going to get that one before me. All right. One of the biggest challenges we all face right now, Jill, on the other side of the wall, is telling everybody, listen, in PR, you need to hire a publicist, you need to get shit done, right? See, to me, quite frankly, I came into the public relations industry with no experience. I've never taken a public relations class. Matter of fact, when I graduated college in 2003, I left to go work for George W. Bush, never filled out my paperwork, so I don't even have a bachelor's degree. But I'm a graduate professor, okay, at a major institution. Matter of fact, I'm one of the only in America that doesn't have a degree that gets things done. Why? Because I look at things differently, and people want somebody that helps them see that. So one of the biggest challenges I faced is, well, because I had none of the street cred in PR, I had no media relationships at all. I was a press secretary for the Republican Party. If that is not the thing that pisses off the media more than anything, I don't know what it is. So I already came in upside down in this industry, right? So then I'm like, well, how do I get these people to listen to me? Well, what I realized is very simple. You need to find a way to show the media that they need and want you, okay? So Mike Dick, anybody here know who Mike Dick is?
Yep.
Coach for the Chicago Bears, right? So Mike and I are fairly close. His gridiron greats. He does everything he can. Believe it or not, that there's a whole group of NFL retirees that have no pension, like pre-82 people. Now, these are some of our kids' heroes, some of our heroes in this room. But these guys are living in squalor and all that because the people that are worse with their money are the ones that have the most of it in sports, right?
Because it all went up their nose.
It all went up their nose. I love you, dude. That's awesome, right? It did all go up their nose. So or in their arms or wherever it may be. I mean, when you see somebody auctioning their Super Bowl ring, that's messed up, man. It's one thing to auction it and give it all to a school, right? Help with a school stuff. But auction put it all up your nose? That's not right, man. So ultimately, I went over and I'm like, Coach, listen. I'm going to get the Boy Scouts to do all this stuff. Mow all the lawns of these people, do all this stuff. But all I want you to do is come speak at the Boy Scout convention. Now, this is before the Boy Scouts were all anti-gay and all this stuff, whatever it may be. And part of the reason why they're not pushing that campaign anymore is because of what I did with them. And I'll get to that in a moment. But what happened was, I go in there and say, Chris, I would love to speak at the Boy Scout convention. I think this is awesome. So when I moved into my office downtown Chicago, next door to me was Coach Dicka's agent's office. So I went over there, and his name's Steve Mandel, huge agent, huge, represents everybody, half the Yankees even. And he says to me, I was like, you know what? Coach is going to need $15,000 for this, right? So I'm flipping out. I'm like, what do you mean? Okay, I've got the Boy Scouts going over and mowing lawns for all these damn players across the country. Just have to speak for 10 minutes. Can't do it, man. It depreciates this as intellectual property. I'm like, all right, man, well, here's an intellectual thing for you. If you don't stop trying to charge every time I want somebody to do something good for charity, I'm going to start my own agency. I'm going to steal all your clients. Now, mind you, I'm 1 week into the business, right? So I'm walking back to my office scared shitless. I thought I was going to get shot. And the truth of the matter is, he didn't listen to me, walked back to my office, and I'm like, you know what? We're going to do this. But you see, I'm not going to take all of his sports clients. I'm going to take all of his media personality clients. Because you see, without the media personalities, he doesn't have the people he needs to get the public relations. I'm going to hit him where it hurts. So I walked back. CNBC did an article. Chicago public relations firm opens charity-minded entertainment division. 1 came, 2 came, 3 came, they all came. So you see, now I represent half the media. And that's, when you do something like that, you do it from a good place. You see, you have control of the situation. So this guy came to me, right, Jeff Pincus. He's what they would call a portly radio personality. Somebody that's face is meant for radio, right, is what they said. He said, listen, Chris, I am going to create the Jeff Pincus man diet. And I said, Jeff, we got one big issue here, all right? Nobody is going to buy a man diet from somebody like you. You're smoking a cigar, you're fat as shit, whatever the situation may be. He's like, don't worry, I got it all figured out. Here's my logo, the Jeff Pincus Man Diet Center. Okay, it looks like more of a CIA hitman. He didn't realize that that wasn't really a phone number, that wasn't me. It's just really ridiculous. So I said, Jeff, listen, man, I believe what you're trying to do as a portly kid myself. I would like to get to this, but I want to come on air with you, and I want you to weigh me in, okay? I want to see how much I weigh on national radio, right? I'll embarrass myself for cause, right? That's how I felt too, man. It was horrible. I rigged the scale on the way in. I'm just going to get it. All right? So we get up in there, and I said, Jeff, I'm going to help you out with your man diet, as long as you give me an audience. For me to put my charity leaders on your radio show whenever I want, so they can talk about good things. I'll even make it relate to you. So we came back, we said, now, this is how we look at the Jeff Pincus man diet. Now, I can tell you right now, guys that are portly will resonate when there's a bacon mustache involved. Mustaches are in, guys. Bacon mustaches are timeless. All right? So we had dog tags. First room, we had 100 people in the room. Now this guy's man diet center, he's lost weight. His man diet center programs are in physical therapy centers all over the Midwest. All right? A fat radio personality with no health and wellness experience took his own personal strife and found a way which worked for him, which removed his excuses. Matter of fact, one of the things you do in the man is twice a week you walk for 20 minutes smoking cigars with other people in the man diet group. Now, I'm sure, sir, you got something to say about that. But, you know, it's just one of those things, right? So it worked, all right? They're all over the place, and now I can walk in and put anybody I want on his station whenever I want. Because, you see, we did something good for him. I made him realize that not only did he need me, he wanted me. Do you guys get how easy that is? I am not some Nobel laureate. I'm not Miss Cleo. I don't know what's going to happen. But you see, when I put my mind to things, just like you all can, we get things done. Okay? And never forget to tie it back. I hooked them up with the Healthy Initiative. And always remember where you came from. Okay? And I came here first, so you don't forget that. All right? But when all else fails in the media, you become the media yourself. And it's not that hard, and I'm not talking about doing a webinar, a podcast, selling people into your teleseminars or anything like that. I'm talking about become a media personality. I'm on both the national television and radio. You know that internet stuff, I'm talking real things. So when you can't get it done yourself, all you have to do is have conviction and say, hey, listen, I've been thrown. Anybody know who Mancow is? Eric Mancow Muller. Yes. Mancow Muller is by far one of the most popular radio personalities in America. But right now, his television show on the History Channel is the #1 show on History Channel. God, Guns, and Automobiles is what the show is called. I didn't write the title, but whatever it is. So I'm nationally syndicated on his show as well. So now I have an audience myself. I am the media. I'm an analyst for ABC News. I'm the one who talks about social media, all that kind of stuff. I'm the one for ABC. I'm on E, Fox. I can go all day long. That's Kendra Wilkinson. That was Hugh Hefner's wife. We were on E together for a while. So we get things done. And you see, because I'm out there talking about real things, how we fix schools, how we feed people around the world, and how we save people whose eyes are damaged so they can see again. Then a television show came to me. You guys have all heard Extreme Makeover Home Edition, right? The show, a wonderful show. And believe it or not, they had no idea that Lisa Lockwood and I were in the same camp. And we're casted right now for a new television show, much like Shark Tank comes in and invests in people. We come in and take you on as a client, change your life. Okay, business and individual. So that'll be on television real soon. You know, there's definitely a fairly prolific cast. They came in and spent the week in our office, filmed it all. But you see, that's because we did stuff good. Because remember I said earlier, if you do things for the right reasons, they won't enter the wrong reasons, right? All right, I definitely have a face for radio. But you see, one of my big challenges was that, you know, I sweat so damn much. So by the time I go down to be on CNN in downtown Chicago, I would be so damn wet. All right? And it would take an extra hour to dry me off. Then they could not use any tungsten lights. I mean, I'm basically sitting in a dark room, and they're doing it in post to make me brighten up just because, you know, I face some of these challenges. So because we do good things, one of our clients came to us. He said, listen, this client disappeared. He paid us. He disappeared for a year. And he came back, and he was a $500,000 a year brand before. Now he's a $2.38 million a year business, just because he listened to my social enterprise advice. He said, Chris, what I'm going to do for you is I'm going to build a video studio in your basement, put the bathroom with the shower downstairs. So you know what, Chris, you're never going to have to leave your office to get things done. You see, because you have your own. So now when I'm on CNN stuff, they come from my basement right up there. You see, now I have a place where I bring in the politicians and I ask them real questions. I ask them real tough questions, right? People like him come in there and just tear them apart about television. You see, because when you're in the media, you have control. Okay? We're almost done here, guys. See, it's okay to take leaps. You know, I'm going to tell you about one that we're working with right now, and I'm going to tell you what we did to actually walk the talk. How many of you guys know Camden, New Jersey? Camden, New Jersey. You live in New York, right? So we're in Chicago right now. Chicago is one of the worst communities on earth, okay? But you know what? The worst one when it comes down to crime and strife is Camden, New Jersey. Now, my friend Cory Booker, do you guys know who Cory Booker is? He's the mayor of Newark, New Jersey. All right, so he's one of the most inspirational people. I probably have 3 or 4 heroes in my life. Bruno Serrato's one of them in the room right now. Cory Booker's another. And Cory Booker, when he was running for mayor of Newark, New Jersey, he was running against somebody that was very popular. And a news reporter brought them both out to a parking lot and they're doing an interview. And the news reporter's like, I want you guys to explain what you see right here. I mean, it's a pretty crappy part of Newark, New Jersey, at the time. So the first person comes up and he's like, you know what? That's an abandoned park. That right there.